So we just bought a van. It's a 2016 Ford Transit Connect with 67,000 miles, with the premium wheel missing the hubcap and an exposed tire valve stem, with a leftover vinyl wrap from AT&T and bullet holes. It also comes with 2 sliding doors for ease of access to all of our cargo. We also have this really nice black racing stripe. But in all seriousness, this is Mad Light Films' new production van. The main reason for upgrading this from a regular car, such as an SUV, like many other people do, or they'll throw all their equipment in whatever car they have, is really just safety. That was the kind of the top of mind priority for me. You know, when you think about all of the equipment that's going to be in your car, you don't want to get rear-ended and all of that stuff comes flying at your head. And so I really wanted to make sure that we were transporting our equipment safely. Cosmetically, the van doesn't look great, but honestly, that doesn't really bother us too much. In actuality, it might even be an advantage for now, just because the van doesn't look appealing. It might deter people from trying to steal anything from the van or attempt to break into the van. Anyways, yeah, we just wanted a good amount of space in here. We have some plans to eventually upgrade parts of this van to make it easier to access gear and to be able to load stuff in. But right now it's pretty much working for us the way we have it now. We can have a fully built out cart with kit at the bottom with some smaller low profile stuff maybe at the top. And for the most part, it's pretty accessible. I guess the main thing that I wanted to be able to do with this car was make it a really cool camera van. And what I mean by that is eventually it would be nice to have some either shelves or a top shelf right here that's connected to this and to the floor, where we could have our cameras already built out and mounted, potentially 2 of them right here. And that way, when you're doing a big company move, you literally just have to put the camera there, lock it down, and then move to your next location. This is the interior of the van. It's actually quite spacious for than what I was expecting. Yeah, here we have the driver's side, and it's pretty straightforward. The only thing that's the downside is that there's no Bluetooth, so we have to connect with an aux for music, but it's really not that big of a deal. We're not very big people, so this is plenty of room for us as far as like how far this chair can recline back. And then it has cruise control, pretty much everything that you'll need. A plus side with this van, we can't see out the back when the doors are closed, of course, since there's no windows. But we do have a backup cam, so that makes it a lot easier to back out the van. So here we have the glove compartment box. Eventually, with this partition that we have built out, we are going to cover this with either a steel plate or some sort of foam, just so that you can't see anything that's back there. It does have this overhead, I don't know what you'd call this piece, but it's basically just a little bit of extra storage for whatever smaller stuff we have. The other extra thing that I also want to add to this is, since we have some space right here, I might mount like a fire extinguisher right here just in case. I feel like it's never a bad idea to have some sort of extra safety. And then probably put some sort of med kit in here as well. I recorded some time lapses of me putting together this partition or bulkhead, whatever you want to call it. It's from Holman. I didn't show us putting it inside and actually installing the whole piece, but it was pretty straightforward. It just took me and my brother. We slid it through that door on the other side, and then all we had to do was kind of just keep pushing it until it fit into the place we wanted. We have the top bar right here, and it's attached with these 2 bolts on the top right corner of the partition on each side. And then we have this one that I still have yet to install. I need to drill into the metal. It's just hard to tell like if there's anything like behind it, so I just kind of been waiting on that. And then the last part where you attach this partition is with this plate right here. There are 2 bolts that attaches to the partition, and then this plate attaches to a D-ring screw. So those are the main points of contact. Super easy. As the guy explained it to me, if you can build Legos, then you can build a partition, and he was right. The partition that we got was from a company called Holman, and it came with pretty much everything that you would need right in a box. The partition that I'm building, eventually we are going to be taking these D-rings out, and that's where one of the mounting points for the partition will be mounted onto. So this one and that D-ring over there. One other thing that we will eventually change also is the flooring. This floor is pretty old and it had some sort of compartment box or something that AT&T had over it, and it left some sort of sticky residue on it. So eventually we'll replace that. They only cost about like $450 including tax to get the floor, and it looked pretty nice from what I saw, and it really only took a couple of steps to take out the old one and install the new one. But eventually we do have plans to fix some of the stuff that does need to get fixed. There is some exposed metal that we need to address and just make sure that we don't have to deal with that in the future with rust or anything like that. Another thing that we're kind of in the process of is also removing this vinyl wrap that's on the top of the van. It's been a pretty difficult process so far, even using a steamer. We're using like a $60 steamer that you use for clothes, and it does work. It's just slow and steady process, and I'm just gonna have to take like a whole day to like really work at it and eventually get that roof, the vinyl on the roof removed. And honestly, if you're a company in Austin that does either vinyl wraps or does spray painting jobs, and you want a video in exchange for, doing something for a van, then let us know. We'd be more than happy to open up that conversation. I used to work at this company called MLD Equipment Rental. We had a Ford Transit, which is essentially the Big Brother version of the Transit Connect that we have here. The nice thing about that van was that the rear doors could open 180 degrees. And at first, me and my brother, we thought that the van couldn't do that on here. And then on a shoot yesterday, I quickly found out like, oh, there's a button exactly just for doing that. So here it is. All you have to do is press it and you hold it as you slide it right open. And you can do it on the other side. And just like that, you have full access to the back of your van without any kind of obstruction. A quality of life upgrade I'd like to add to this van, now that we know that these doors can open all the way, is pretty much adding a spotlight right here and also one right there. That way, whenever we have to pack out and load gear back in and it's a late shoot, we'd be able to see whatever we're doing. So what Solomon is doing is taking off a strap that we have here. And right now, this is our point of contact with the van, with the cart, so that the cart doesn't fly forward. And then additionally, this cart has really good brakes. And even without the tie down, it's pretty good. Eventually, we are going to install some sort of E-track on the side just so that we have additional tie down points to make sure that this is really secure. But we haven't had any issues with it shifting at all. This floor is also pretty grippy, so we don't really have any problems. So pretty much we have this cart ready to go. It doesn't take that long to load any stuff on it if we have it in this configuration where we just want to pull the cart out. If we were using the ramp, we would set the ramp up, and then this would probably already have gear on it, which is really the only reason why we'd need to use it. But yeah. I'm still kind of thinking about what we're going to do with C-stands or any sort of stands when we have everything set up. But my initial idea is that eventually we might get like a shelf, maybe two-tiered, like that comes up to this high. And then that way we could slide in C-stands maybe at this level, have the legs on this side to also act as like an additional stopping force if it has that shelf right there. And then maybe carry, at max, I would say 6 C-stands and then maybe like 2 combos at the bottom. So eventually we might get to that, but for now, for the equipment that we have at the moment, this works pretty good. And it just fits in the back like so. So I talked about the car having 67,000 miles. And why that was important to me was because most cars, when they reach 100,000 miles, you're gonna wanna make sure that certain things are looked at for the life of the vehicle. And so we were looking at other vehicles that had 130,000 miles, 120,000 miles, and cosmetically they looked amazing. They looked way better than this. But I had no idea how well the internals were actually maintained. And so you're thinking about a variety of things that might need to be changed at 100,000 miles. Well, we went with this car as a safe bet since we weren't quite at that mark yet to worry about major repairs or any sort of major maintenance. And so that's why we went with this vehicle, because we know we're gonna be doing the maintenance on this vehicle and know exactly what's done to it moving forward past 67,000 miles and beyond.